Rightfully so, citizens have a vested interest in the quality, safety, and cleanliness of city streets. But what about the multitude of narrow, unpaved passages that lie behind and between?
It's a big problem because we can't do it. Public Works doesn't have enough folks. We would have to put, the 100 people that work for Public Works could literally spend every day of the work week cleaning alleys, and it would probably take us the whole year. And then it's time to start over again.
The fact is, it is not the city's responsibility to maintain alleys. As clearly stated by city ordinance, that responsibility belongs to the resident.
As defined by the city ordinance, you're responsible for the portion of the alley up to the center line. If you abut it on one side, you go to the center. The people across from you, they go to the center. And it's your responsibility to take care of that area just as you would your yard. To keep the grass trimmed, to keep the trees trimmed back, trash, weeds, etc. According to the ordinance, the person that occupies the property, and it doesn't discern the difference between whether they're a renter or an owner. So if you're living in a place and it's your responsibility to take care of that yard, it's also your responsibility to take care of to the center portion of the alley.
Confusion arises because alleys are actually easements that allow city vehicles as well as utility companies to access necessary community infrastructure. But those easements don't equate to ownership. The actual property in the alley still belongs to the adjacent home or business owner.
You can't fence an easement off. And so most people historically have put their fences up to the easement. When they do that, I guess that's over the years given them the sense that that's a boundary to their property. In reality, it's not.
Alleys serve another vital function. In case of emergency, for example, access through an alley might be critical and could even spell the difference between life and death.
It's pretty important that they remain clean and clear because the fire department uses alleys in cases of fire and that kind of thing because they may need to come in from the backside to put a fire out on your property. The city, if it has to, will go in some cases and trim trees back, and so will the utility companies. The electric company will do that on occasion. The gas company, since they bury their lines, they're not so much doing that. One of the issues that we're having is because people don't use the alleys like they used to back in the day when the city did the trash service and came through here with the big giant trucks. The big giant trucks kind of kept the trees trimmed back. It was not intentional, but it worked that way. Now that those trucks aren't using these alleys on a daily basis, these trees have really kind of taken over. And as I say, it's really important that they're not impassable because if, worst case scenario, you have a fire on your property and the fire trucks, which are big trucks, need to get through into the back through the alleyway, they may not be able to do it. You may lose your property because you haven't done the maintenance you're supposed to do.
The alley maintenance ordinance does include penalties for those who neglect to keep their portions clean and clear.
We can turn over to code enforcement. Neighbors can call on neighbors. It happens all the time. And code enforcement can actually ticket you and put a lien against the property for cleanup, and they will actually hire somebody to come in and do the cleanup. Some people just need a reminder, and the same thing we're trying to accomplish here is just try to educate people because most people probably don't even realize that. I lived in town for most of my life. I didn't realize that. Now, I would pick the alley up on occasion just because I didn't like the looks of it or whatever. But most people probably just don't realize this. So if you make a call and we have a code enforcement officer come and visit, their first step's always going to be say, hey, go out and take care of this. And not necessarily are they going to immediately write you a fine or hire some contract laborer to come in and take care of it and put a lien on your property. They're always going to give that person the option of taking care of it first.
Alleys aren't designed to carry traffic, although in some cases they do. They also aren't strips of property owned and maintained by the city of Ada or utility companies. They belong to the people of Ada, who owe it to themselves and each other to keep their parts not only passable, but also presentable.
It's the same as any other maintenance on your property. If you're going to mow your grass, then take that same time and pick up your alley a little bit or trim a branch or whatever. It's just part of your normal upkeep. People need to understand the gas lines are not here for any other purpose than to provide them gas. Same with the electrical, same with the telephone. It's for the convenience of the citizens in the long run. So, it's incumbent on all of us to take care of the alleys that butt up to our property.